Welcome back to Youth and Drugs Dilemma. In our last episode, we looked at why people try drugs. Today, we are talking about what happens when trying becomes a trap addiction.
Yes, John. Addiction is when a person loses control over drug use. At first, it feels like a choice, but over time, it becomes a need. The drugs takes over the body, the brain, and even the future.
So, how exactly does addiction work?
Well, when someone uses drugs, chemicals in the brain are changed. At first, the brain releases exactly feel good signals. That's the high people chase. But with time, the brain stops producing those signals naturally.
Which means the person now needs drugs just to feel normal?
Exactly. That's how the trap begins. First, it's for fun, then it becomes a habit, and finally, it turns into a prison.
I remember hearing about a young man from our community. He started smoking weed just to fit in. Soon, he moved on to harder drugs. He dropped out of school, lost his friends, and even stole from his family just to get money for the next dose.
Yes, and there's also the story of a girl who began using pills to handle stress during exams. At first, she thought it helped her focus, but later, she couldn't sleep without them. She became dependent, anxious, and eventually needed medical help to recover.
These stories are real, and they show how addiction doesn't start with bad intentions. It starts small but grows into something dangerous.
That brings us to two parts of addiction: physical and psychological dependency.
Physical dependence is when the body gets used to the drugs. If the person tries to stop, they feel withdrawal, like shaking, sweating, headache, and even worse.
And physical psychological dependency is when the mind craves the drug. The person feels like they can't live, study, or even socialize without it.
So, addiction doesn't just lock up the body, it changes the mind too.
Yes, and that's why escaping addiction is so difficult. It takes courage, support, and often professional help.
So, today we have seen how addiction works. It starts as a choice but quickly becomes a prison. We have heard stories of young people who lost their way, and we have learned about physical and psychological dependence.
The lesson is clear. Drugs are not just dangerous, they are traps. A single step into addiction can change a life forever.
In the next episode, we will explore the impact of drug abuse on education, health, and relationships.
Thanks for joining us for episode 3 of Youth and the Drug Dilemma. Remember, don't take the first step into the trap of addiction because getting out is much harder than staying free.